back to more Dracula, a love story, and we're just jumping right back in, picking up right where we left off, because I need to know continuously what happened. And also get ready to most likely restart this whole thing. Chapter 4, the first night in the castle. That definitely tells you, I am not leaving. Vlad's abrupt appearance in the torture chamber made all of us shudder. Our shiver ran down my spine. How would he react at my escape attempt? I get it. The castle and all that. He made a vague gesture at the room's interior. Your friends told you were in danger, and of course you believed them more than you did me. He spoke calmly, softly, not being ironic at the least. It embarrassed me even more, but then Leo cut in again. Oh, that's rich. Look at you, so kind and noble. You think everyone will immediately forget you took her here by force? You made her do it. Move, we're leaving, and Melody is going with us. She'll stay here. Leo clenched his fist and took a threatening step to Vlad. Vlad frowned but stayed still. Playing the Beauty. I told you, Beauty and the Beast vibes! Beauty and the Beast, huh? It's not clear yet who's the beast here. A moment and Leo rushed at him. He wanted to apply some special hold, but Vlad seemingly guessed his intentions, dodged, caught his hand, and Leo flew over to the wall, hitting his shoulder on it. Damn, how? Your left hand is slower than your right. We heard a hollow mechanical screech and then a sliding hiss. I noticed Sandra looking up and lifted my head too. Heavy bars with sharp stakes were lowering down fast right onto Leo. Oh no! Ah, Leo! At the same second, Vlad jumped on him, pushing him aside. They fell, tumbled across the floor. A moment later, the bars clanged, leaving stake marks on the stone floor. Oh! Oh my god. For some time, we were all frozen in shock. Can I just worry about them both? Vlad, Leo, are you okay? You gave us such a scare. Are you hurt? I'm fine. Everything's alright. They got up dusting themselves off. I know picking one or the other will probably give like a little heart mark to one of the other two. But I don't know yet, okay? So Leo turned to Vlad, hesitated for a moment, and said, "Thank you. It's nothing. I'm glad you're okay." Thank you? Glad? He almost got killed. Yeah, because y'all just stumbled into a torture chamber and decided to stand in here and have a conversation about it. And Leo decided to attack Vlad and his house for no real reason. Yeah. And what? You guys mad at what's the name? Why don't the castle owner tell us who and why they hung the hellish things over people's heads? Why they hung the hellish things over people's heads? He just bought the castle. What are you talking about? Vlad searched the wall and looked at the ceiling. It's hard to tell. The mechanism looks to be at least a couple hundred years old. I think the hit triggered it. I need to examine this place scrupulously. The castle had many owners. Who knows what these walls hide? I only bought it yesterday. Yesterday? Let's just leave. Right now. I don't want any more surprises. Yes, it's dinner time anyway. You're all invited. Finally, we left the sinister room and Vlad took us through the castle halls. The stone walls were radiating cold and the ceilings were lost in the darkness. Our little gang seemed a bunch of gnomes compared to the dark grandeur. Why do you live in such a strange place? The castle was built on my ancestor in the 15th century and it had been passed down to the next generations. Then our family moved to Europe and the castle came to be owned by other people. I was born and raised in Switzerland and only recently found out about my origins. A desire to learn more about my ancestors brought me here and also to take back what was once ours. So I bought our house for starters. The puzzle pieces began to fall into place in my head. And then the paintings, right? Did they belong to your dynasty too? Yes, my ancestor, the founder of this castle, treasured them, so it's very important for me to restore them. Yes, but why did you give them to me? I'm not from your bloodline or even from this country. I wanted someone who's worthy of the paintings and who's able to appreciate them to have them. We walked to the terrace in the courtyard. It was much more cozy here than the rest of the castle. There was a small garden with flower beds in here. Ladies and gentlemen, everything's ready in the kitchen. We're about to serve dinner. Please sit wherever you like. How did they prepare dinner for so many people? Why are there places set for everybody already? However, these two places are for the master and the lady of the house, but there's no lady of the house now. Suddenly, Vlad turned to me and pointed to the lady's chair. Melody, sit here. Be the lady of my house while you stay here. Your relationship with Vlad is good enough for this offer. Interesting. Me? What do I have to do? Just be here. The lady of the house is a rank, an honorary title if you will. Her main task is to provide the atmosphere. Well, what do you say, Melody? I have to stay here anyway. Alright, whatever. It's even interesting. There you go, Anton. You can be calm now. There's the lady of the house. At least the music's not so dark and sinister anymore. The servants brought the food. It was delicious, and all of us were quite hungry, so we dug in enthusiastically. However, Vlad seemed to stay indifferent to the exquisite meals. He poured water in his heavy crystal glass and took a sip. Because he drinks blood, a steady diet of blood. I hope you'll stay for the night. It's about to be dark. You shouldn't travel through the mountains at night. The thought that I'll be staying with my friends in the castle was very comforting. Yes, please stay. Of course, Melody won't leave you here. He gave Vlad a meaningful glance. The latter answered with a barely visible skeptical smirk and turned to Sandra and Millie. You can stay for more than tonight. My home is your home. I'll leave in the morning. Nosferatu, I had it written down. My cat is alone in the hotel. I can't leave him alone for a long time. Of course you can. I guess I could stay here for longer. My home village is close. It won't be a problem to visit my family. Wonderful. Well then, why don't you tell me about yourselves? It was a pause that always happens when no one's eager to start. It's boring to just tell stuff. Let's play Truth or Dare. It's always fun. Really, that's kind of a childish game. No, it's not. My sister pouted and looked at everyone with hope in her eyes. Suddenly, Vlad smiled. I don't know this game, but I like the name. You don't know the name! Okay. Out in the comments, tell me, if you literally never heard of Truth or Dare before this moment, please let me know. Let me know. Because that's suspicious. Brings up the truth as well as dares. Why don't we try it? The others agreed, Millie being to start explaining the rules. The idea is mine, so I start. The one I asked is the next one. You can't ask the same person twice. Let's start. Alright, Leo. Truth or Dare? Truth. Millie rubbed her palms together, put on the sly expression, blushed, and blurted out, What kind of girls do you like, Leo? Oh lord. Sandra tried to contain her laughter. She leaned to me and whispered, I think she started the whole game for that question. Leo brushed off a strand of his rebel hair in one swift move. Well, first, I like girls with fine taste, which means those who like me. Millie giggled. I couldn't help but smile too. Also like girls who are beautiful, feminine, and have something mysterious to them. My turn now. Melody. Truth or Dare? Oh. This is a trap. Let's go for truth. Leo cast a short glance at Vlad, then turned to me decisively. Melody, in all that time you were with Vlad without us, did he ever do anything that upset or scared you? Did you feel he was dangerous? Bewildered, I looked at him, then at Vlad. The castle owner was looking at us with some heavy and at the same time deeply sad gaze. Vlad knows what the honest answer is, and so do I, but should I tell the truth? At the same time, I ain't trying to put him on blast, you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't say nothing about that. Like, they already scared of him. And probably for good reason, but still. No, I'm good. Vlad's been acting with dignity. I didn't notice anything frightening. Vlad put his glass. Oh. Okay. Apparently that was the wrong thing to say. He wanted me to tell the truth? Vlad put his glass down, causing it to ring loudly as he hit it against the edge of a platter. I wonder how he didn't shatter the glass. His lips twisted. He breathed out loudly as if trying to compose himself. That's not true, Melody. You lied. Out of courtesy or because you treat me with kindness doesn't matter. It was still a lie. Vlad appreciates truth. Your lie angered him. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. Dude. Holy shit. Okay. See, that's another problem. I'm gonna need you not to get up and dramatically be so aggressive. Um, because you don't like something. That's number one. Okay, so I switched it up a little bit. This time I rushed to Leo to go and save him. Well, not save him, but see if he was alright earlier in the chapter. And now he's saying something a little bit different here in Truth or Dare. He says, don't think about it, Millie. Blonde, brunette, slim, curvy. Everything changes when you see the one. Then you stand there like an idiot, looking at her in the light of the night and thinking, there she is. I know her. I've always known her. And you'll even forgive her for not listening to you and being so contrary. Okay. The relationship with Leo is good enough, so he's up front. Vlad shook a napkin in his hand displeasedly, accidentally hitting the glasses with it. They rang limitedly. Well, my turn now. Melody, Truth or Dare. Okay, we'll try Truth again. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it happened. That was not a moment related to me directly, but I was scared by Vlad's attitude towards a petty thief on the road. I looked at Vlad worriedly, but to my surprise, he was clearly happy with my answer. Vlad appreciates truth and respects you more now. It's true. I lost my temper. Sorry for frightening you. Leo clenched his teeth, leaned over to Vlad and hissed. Don't even think I'll entrust her to you anymore. Melody, your turn. Maybe we can get some truth out of Vlad. Hey, buddy. Truth. I was so sure he picked Dare or disclosing his secrets that I immediately felt confused. I had so many questions for him, but now I can't think of a single one. Well then, Vlad. You take me here only for the paintings. Am I in danger here? Have you ever lied to me? He said he appreciates truth. Hasn't... Only thing he said is that he couldn't tell me right now. So I'm not gonna waste my question on that. Let's ask this one. Or there are other motives for you wanting me to work here. There are other motives. I felt uneasy. We heard rude men's screams from the outside of the castle stone walls. Then a deafening clap of a shot and a pitiful whine of some animal. Hunters? It's prohibited to hunt in this forest. When we were looking at each other in alarm, Vlad had already gotten up from the table and ran to the gates. The animal screamed, we heard cursing and some commotion, and sprang to our feet. Anton, do you have weapons? One moment, mister. Anton disappeared into the utility room and soon returned with a shoulder arm. We always keep it loaded, just in case. Leo grabbed the gun and went to the gates, too. Millie, stay here, and Sandra and I... Stay here, all of you. Don't even think of interfering. Well, be careful. What if you need our help? Let's go. Vlad is along with them out there. Leo just shrugged in irritation and rushed forward, Sandra and me in tow. We ran through the gates and saw fallow deer on the clearing. Two scared babies were shifting their feet next to their mother, who was lying on the ground. She was breathing heavily, her mouth agape, and crimson blood was pouring out of her side. Sandra ran to her. Where's Vlad? Screams and noises came from the thickets. Leo raised a gun and moved towards them, and I followed him. We looked up cautiously and spotted Vlad. He was pressing some man against a tree, holding him by his lapels. Vlad was telling him something threatening in Romanian. The man grinned, scared. Suddenly, I saw a rifle in the grass next to them, apparently belonging to the jacklighter. His accomplice was lurking towards it behind Vlad's back. I pat Leo on the shoulder. Look, look! The second jacklighter's hand was inches away from the gun when Leo jumped at him, knocking him out with the buttstock. Melody, Leo? Why did you take her here? As if she would agree to wait out there. Sometime later, Millie, dying from curiosity, looked out from the gate. She saw us returning. Leo was ahead, carrying the wounded fallow deer. Behind Vlad were bringing the jacklighters, guiding them with the barrel of the gun. Sandra and I were trying to shepherd the terrified, disobedient cows. Oh. Took the deer to a pound that was once intended for horses. The castle gardener volunteered to take the jacklighters to the precinct. While the men were handling them, Sandra and I took the deer's wound. Millie didn't come with us. As much as she loved animals, she was terrified of wounds and bandages. Poor thing. Sandra, get more antiseptic. There you go, girl. Be patient. Oh. She was lucky the bullet only grazed her, but still, it's a big wound. The pearl of fallow deer are the cold forest's pride. They're already in danger, these bastards. I rinsed the wound as thoroughly as I could and applied the bandage. The deer closed her eyes wearily and seemed to fall asleep. The babies lay down next to her, nuzzling against their mother's side. They had those wonderful big eyes, so lamenting. I felt unwanted tears streaming down my face and turned around, wiping them with my hand. My heart is breaking when I'm looking at them. Sandra caressed my shoulders sympathetically. We'll heal her, and then we put them back into the forest, and they'll live like they used to, and those freaks will get what they deserve. She hugged me and caressed my hair. Then she pulled my head closer and kissed my forehead gently. She wiped the tears off my cheeks gently, and gave me another kiss on my lips, short and sweet. Don't cry, baby. It'll be alright. Oh, Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, the rooms are ready. Make yourself at home. Rest. By the way, there's a library here. It's not Beauty and the Beast, I don't know what. The right ring, the first carved door to the left. Feel free to come in and take any book that you like. Wait. Do you want to stay away from the left wing? Just saying. Let's see. The library is on the white ring. First carved door to left. Vlad left and Anton took to lodging us. Miss Melody, there are 3 bedrooms for you to choose from. Please follow me. Of course there are. Okay. This one. It's pretty cute. Yeah, this one. Super grand. But that costs like 104 gems. Oh, no. This one costs 104 gems. Gothic. 21. Opulent. Oh, really? It doesn't cost an arm and a leg for the room? For real? Alright. Well, then we might as well go for it. This is nice and light in here. Alright. Usually these rooms cost an arm and a leg, for real. Oh, the choice of a real queen. Anton brought my suitcase and I took to settling down in my new room. I was putting my stuff on the shelves and simultaneously trying to categorize my thoughts. Past, the present, the paintings, the castle, Vlad. Vlad confessed he took me here not only for the paintings, but for what else? Soon all my clothes were in place, but my mind kept racing. I decided to check out the library. Walking down the empty hall felt very uncomfortable. I picked up the pace and tried to remember which door Vlad mentioned earlier. I think it's the left wing, the first carved door to the right. I guess it's here. No! That's not what he said! Ask me! Oh lord. I took the handle when I heard voices behind the door. They sounded familiar. Master Vlad, but that's nothing. All butlers do it. It's not the library. I confused something. They all lie to their masters? They all steal? You appointed such a big salary for me. I didn't even think a gentleman so generous would notice these dimes. The butler babbled desperately and pitifully. Vlad's voice was ringing, raised. It's not about the sum. How do you not see it? I heard the sound of falling objects and the butler's short moan. Oh my god, no! Oh lord, here I go again. Really? I shouldn't interfere? Oh lord. I pulled the door but it wouldn't budge and I slammed my fist into it. Open up! Everything fell silent. I heard footsteps approaching the door. Melody? Anton slipped behind the door. Instead of his usual smile, he was frowning in fear. Writing tools were scattered across the floor, thrown off the table in some fit. Vlad turned to the butler and said with metal in his voice, "It's the first and last warning. Even the most minuscule sum again, and go." The butler bowed, horrified, and took to running. What happened here? Some unpleasant human error. Human? Melody, I need to finish some business. Sorry. The heavy carved door slammed in front of my face. Okay. A rose? Really? The petals falling off? Get out of here! Get out of here! That time I came to the right direction. My head spun as I observed countless bookshelves filling the huge chamber. I came into the first row and started looking at the books. There wasn't a soul in the whole library. But the door opened and someone entered the room. I saw Leo in the gap between books. Your relationship with Leo is good. Still offended and will show it. Offended by what, though? What is she offended by? I have my reasons for not liking him that much, but it's not because I'm offended. He ain't do nothing. Being a bit possessive, but I mean, yeah, sure, go ahead and see him. I pushed the book with my finger, making it hit the floor right behind Leo's back, and made him jump. Who's here? I tried to make a mysterious rustle, but I merely broke the character and laughed, allowing Leo to find me. Well, what a cute ghost I bumped into. What are you doing here? I was looking for some beauty, and hey, I found her. Are you sure you were looking for this one, not the redhead? I said it as a joke, but Leo got flustered. Nell is just my business partner. Yes, I got it. And still, it's weird. You met at the hotel that day. Then she came to the restaurant to see you, you went for a walk, and she was hugging you? Oh my god, get over it. Leo pushed a chair forward for me to sit and sat down next to me. You see, her father did a lot for me in the past. My dad left when I was 13. Mom took it hard. She would sit all day long staring at the TV. I had to grow up early and take care of her and little Kathy. Sports saved me. That's when Matt spotted me. He supported me and mentored me, then he helped me start my own business. It's gone now. So when Nella calls and asks for something, I can't refuse her. Leo put his hand on mine and leaned closer. You have no idea how glad I am that you're fine. But we can't trust Vlad just yet. The door opened exactly at the moment he uttered it, and who should come in but Vlad? Leo and I gave a start and moved away from each other like high schoolers caught by a teacher. Vlad looked at us closely and said without any emotion, Melody, it's time to report your progress with the paintings. Please fetch them in your instruments and follow me. Leo sprang to his feet. What the hell, now? Can't you wait until the morning? What kind of night work meet cute is that? Leo, you said you have to leave early in the morning because of the cat? So go and have some sleep. And you know, I don't think you should come back. Jeez. Leo's neck veins popped out. He gritted his teeth and clenched his fist. I stood between them quickly, took his shoulders, and looked him in the eye. Please don't. It won't help. Commitment is commitment. We'll talk later and sort it out. Vlad, I'm ready to go. Vlad nodded, satisfied, and opened the door, letting me go out first. Leo stayed alone in the library. The spiral stairs took us to the open viewing point. It's beautiful here at day, but now it's absolutely special. The point was lit by a lantern, and over the edge there was the panoramic view of the forest and the mountains, basking in the bright moonlight. There was almost no fog. Really? All I see is a bunch of fog. There's no fog, and I could see the rustling leaves and the mysterious little lights. The crickets were chirping, the night birds were singing, the forest looked like a living creature, enigmatic yet peaceful. And there's a lake over there. I turned around and spied the perfectly smooth surface. So calm, like a mirror. Please, show me the paintings. I laid Hassan's portrait on the table and the painting I started working on today next to it. Vlad only looked at them for a short moment. He pushed a chair away from the table and sat down, and pointed me at another chair. Sit down and work for a bit. I want to see how you're doing it. Here? Now? Yes. So he's gonna sit here and watch me work? It's strange and exciting, strange but okay, strange and unpleasant. Sure, strange and exciting. I sat down, took an instrument, and reached for the painting hesitatingly. Just work, don't think. Soon I got carried away as usual. The secret of the hidden painting absorbed me completely. You're very beautiful. I was startled at the sound of his voice and turned around. In the moonlight, Vlad's face seemed to be made of delicate light. It looked like someone from a mysterious and magical land. Take your hair off your face. I'd like to see you better. His voice remained quiet, but there were no intonations to it. Interest and vigor. Alright. His deep velvet voice seemed to seep under my skin, awakening shivers within. With shaky fingers, I pushed back a strand of my hair, touching the delicate skin of my ear. His gaze was following this move and my reaction. It seemed to captivate me, never letting me go. The touch of my own fingers gave me strange excitement, almost burning me. I felt like he was the one touching me with his hands. I wanted to feel it again, so I touched my neck and slid down with my fingers gently, from the ear to the shoulders, then again along the collarbones. His eyes were burning, still watching my every move closely, devouring me. I felt a wave of warmth rising from within, from my neck to my chest, going down to the bottom of my stomach insistently. Vlad was still sitting motionless, with one leg on top of the other, entwining his fingers and tilting his head a bit. Only several feet were separating us, and I felt that space filling with the heat of a mutual desire. I bit my lip, trying to contain my gasp. The distance between us tormented me, almost driving me crazy. I was almost physically pulled to him, so I got up without hesitation, but... Melody, continue your work, please. He said it softly, but it still felt like a slap to me. I sat down perplexedly. I lowered my head so he could not see my face and continued working on the painting in sharp, nervous movements. Several minutes later, I felt the familiar lulling feeling. No, not now, not when he's watching. But I couldn't resist it, so I slipped away in a moment. Lo hesitated for a moment, then knocked. The door opened. Did you bring it? Come on in. The teacher's study was filled with artists' materials, easels, boxes of coal brushes. Lo laid out Hassan's portrait on the table. The teacher examined it excitedly. It's still unfinished. I had so much work to do these past weeks. But it's already apparent that it's a very distinguished work, the work of a real artist. You have the gift of Lokatan. She blushed. The teacher approached the shelves and took off a small clay pot. Lokatan, I hope one day the world will see and appreciate your work, but for now... He took off the cloth from the pot. Inside there was some slimy ointment. We must hide the portrait. No one can see it. What's in the pot? I went to war back at my homeland. It was a partisan war. We were hiding in bushes. And we had a way of hiding important documents like cards from the opponent. It's a mixture of wax and herbal infusions, and it's difficult and time-consuming to prepare, but if you cover the painting with it, the image will be hidden. And you only need to warm the canvas to make it visible again. Say, put it in the oven. Lo blinked in surprise. Take it. Once you're done with the portrait, cover with a thin layer of this ointment and let it dry. After that, your work will seem an old greasy piece of canvas to everyone not in the know. Lo couldn't help but jump in excitement. That's so great! Who invented this miraculous thing? Suddenly, Demetrius lowered his gaze and turned to the window. A girl. She knew each plant in the forest. She loved them and talked to them. I think they talked to her back, revealing their secrets, but unfortunately, she died. Lo felt uncomfortable for bringing the teacher's bitter memories up. Lo took a wavering step toward Demetrius. Demetrius Hojam, I'm very sorry about the girl. The teacher turned around, their eyes got closer than ever before. She looked just like you, Lokatan. Lo got flustered, bowed to the teacher, took the pot and the portrait, and stumbled back to the door. Thank you, Demetrius Hojam. Surely not an Li. Maybe, I don't know. Lo crept to the door cautiously, about to slip out of the room. Where are you going? Come here. Ugh. Lo sighed exhaustedly and turned to her tutoress. She produced a small box and handed it to her. Do you know where the chambers of Sazad Mehmed are? I ain't going there! I do. Here, take it to his chaperone, Day Katan. Ask the guards, they'll take you to her. Mehmed's chaperone? She's the one you've been visiting every other night? She is. We used to be friends when we were young. I was nursing you. She was nursing the Sazad until he was exiled to Manisa. Lo's eyes widened. Someone was speaking of Mehmed's past for the first time since he returned to the court. How many years haven't you seen each other? I think about 9. You and Mehmed were 5 years old when... I've heard that phrase before. Lo, do you remember your cousin Mehmed? You were both 5 years old when... What can a 5-year-old boy be exiled for? Shahid Khatan pursed her mouth. Get going. She must be waiting for you already. Servant went to tell Day Khatan about a visitor while Lo was waiting in a small but lavishly decorated room. It was the first time she visited that part of the palace, so she was looking around with great interest. Why did she send me? That's what servants are for. Could something valuable be in the box? No, you're the valuable thing here, and she wants to get you together with him. Because she's stupid. The interior door opened and Lo opened her mouth with the tutoress, but of course, it's fucking him. Surprise! Fucking surprise! You? What are you doing here? I can ask you the same question. This is my tutoress's room. I always visit her at this time. Mehmed walked around Lo, examining her with curiosity. You know, it's even good that you're here. It's high time we talked in private. He plopped down on the sofa, casting his arms to the side, then nodded at a seat opposite him. Sit down. Lo hesitated for a moment and obliged. Mehmed leaned in too close to her face. I like you. So feisty in your face. Sweet like Lokum. Get the fuck out of here, dude. He outstretched his hand towards her chin. Lo froze, unsure how to react. Mehmed picked up her chin with her finger and bust out laughing. Don't be afraid. Tell me this. Why are you so attracted to slaves? You used to hang out with the ginger scarecrow all the time, and now there's that gloomy, scrawny kid. Lo stayed silent. Everything she wanted to tell him was far from what was permitted by etiquette. You're part of the Sultan's family, and I'm the Sultan now. Still can't get used to it. And as the Padishah, I don't approve of your friendship with plebes. Lo just clenched her teeth to stay silent and not lash out at him. Anyway, my dear, it's time to let these friendships die and get close to someone higher in society. Your royal cousin doesn't mind making you one of his kindred spirits. Even he favors upon you, if you act like a good girl. Suddenly Mehmed grabbed her wrist. Lo felt her arm aching, but she didn't dare jerk it back. Mehmed forced her hand to his face and bit her fingertip lightly, then let her go. I want to punch him in the face. It's probably bravery, though. Oh, Lord. I'm talking to the Sultan. He's the Sultan. I must keep silence and go my own way. She put the box down, bowed, and rushed to the door, followed by his laughter. And my tutor is sitting here, like a dumb bitch. It's like, are you oblivious to how evil he is? Like... What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you? All she cares about is like, oh, you need to get married. It doesn't matter who he is. Doesn't matter who probably like beat me in my fucking sleep. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Lo ran as fast as she could, and finally she saw the stable's roof. She looked around and vanished in the small lean-to that was used for storing hay. Oh, we thought you'd never come. Is it ready? Lo nodded, turned away, and produced a scroll from under her skirt. Demet, you're about to see it. It's so wonderful. Promise me you'll look at it every night and recall me. I keep thinking about you all the time, but I promise. Lo unfolded the scroll, and the couple saw the gray, greasy canvas. What's this? Where's the portrait? Lo looked around. She saw a stone table used for preparing vegetables for the animals by the window. The sun made it burning hot. The unfolded canvas started changing slowly when she put it on the table, and soon Safi's portrait began emerging on the surface. What kind of miracle is that? Is it magic? Not magic, Safi Khatan. It's a special concoction to hide the image. The heat reveals it. We didn't think right away, but it would be dangerous for the man to have your portrait on him. Duh! I thought of that right away! Someone could spot it, and Safi gasped. Oh lord, it was so stupid to put Demet in this danger. Love made me delusional. Safi was ready to break out crying either from fear or from relief. I don't want to cut in your goodbye. I should go. Look, Khatan, thank you so much. If I can ever pay you back, I'll be so glad. I'm gonna hold you to that. Lo ran again, this time through the garden. Suddenly 2 pairs of hands emerged from the bushes on both sides of the path. They caught her, stopping her in the tracks. Why are you yelling? We're all friends here. give them a dusting. I'll scold them, I'll rejoice. Sure. I don't even know what a dusting is. Thank God it's you. I got so scared. You were the scary one, galloping like a mare. Who's a mare? Come here. I just really love mares. Aslan hid behind his friend's back. Lel chased him, and together they almost tripped Vlad to the ground. Sometime later, the three of them were lying in the grass, interrupting each other as they counted the first stars. Oh, so they're like an actual trio of buddies. Oh, this is gonna get awkward real fast. Oh, look, this one's falling, so pretty. I wonder where stars fall. Vlad, can you imagine it's your country? Bam! Or yours, Aslan. I can't even remember my homeland. I can only imagine it's snow in the cold mountains. Maybe that's better. At least memories don't torture you every night. It's a good thing you're here. The world doesn't seem so hopeless with you in it. You've got your brother, Radu. Such a sweet boy and so beautiful. I can't take my eyes off of him. Radu, yeah. He just started to love the Ottoman Empire too much. He's forgetting his own land. He's just a kid. He's treated well, and everyone keeps telling him how glorious and wise the Ottomans are. Sorry, Lel. It's okay. I do fear one thing, though. What's gonna happen now that Mehmed is the Sultan? Lel decided to tell her friends about her earlier encounter with the new Sultan, but she kept revisiting it in her head. Uncle Murad has already left Edirne. Today, the last battalion of his Janissaries is going after him. And tomorrow is the day of the first order of Mehmed. I'm afraid to think what it will be. Come on. They'll probably order to transfer the classes to the harem, or we'll start the Byzantium campaign. I don't know. Lel giggled, but immediately pressed her hand against her mouth. Someone's slow steps were heard from the path. Get to the bushes. They hid behind the bushes, trying to make out who was walking there. Bitches. Dang, why don't we turn back? This is too much for your poor legs. No, I can walk this far. Hima's house is already close. Lel leaned to her friends and whispered, "It's Mehmed's nanny, and Hima was the name of the abandoned house owner. I want to follow them." I'll go with you. I'll go with you. We can't follow them all at once. They'll see us. Why do they keep making me pick? So strange. I feel like if we try to all go together, we're gonna get in trouble. Am I still staying in the middle between them, or am I picking a side? I don't know. I don't know at this point. I suppose I should decide soon, because this game is not... Every choice is like, do you pick Aslan or do you pick Vlad? Or Leo or do you pick Vlad? Every single choice is like that. It's like, ugh. I might as well just pick a side. The biggest thing that Vlad has going for him is the whole Beauty and the Beast fight. I love the Beast so much. He's probably my favorite Disney character. And he reminds me of him. I guess for now then I've decided, I don't know, I feel like the more time I spend with Leo, I don't know guys, I'm just gonna go with Vlad, sorry son, you're too noticeable. Relationship with Vlad has improved. Well then it's the downside of my beauty, I can live with that. Let our kind but unfortunately less handsome friend come with you. Vlad elbowed him good-naturedly and hurried after Lel, who was already sneaking behind the bushes. Old ladies were walking. Oh no, the dog! The old ladies were walking slowly, busy with their conversation, so it wasn't hard to follow them. Finally, the house came into view. See how devastated it is? But even now, the house is still beautiful, because it was built with love and for love. Women sat down and talked in hushed voices. Lel and Vlad sneaked to the gate to hear them better. I feel sorry for Hima. She was such a good girl, but she loved Sultan Murad too much. Yes, When he lost interest in her, she used to spend all her time here, living in memories and her naive dreams. But her dream did come true. Her son Mehmed became the Sultan. Oh lord. Who could have thought the fourth son got the throne at the age of 14? Yeah, who could have thought? It's almost as if someone was plotting against the other sons. Oh, she paid too high a price for that. Both her and your sweet Aisha. My mom? Why regret about the past now? You should think about the future. He's tutoress, so tutor him. Wait, what did my mom have to do with that? I swear, if he's involved in my mom dying, bro. And why is this bitch over here like, oh, don't worry about that, whatever. See, she getting more and more bitchy as we go. I'm ready to slap this girl. She pissed me off. Make him a wise ruler who doesn't act on a whim, and he must find a good wife. If he only listened to me, I love my little birdie, but his personality is so challenging. Suddenly Lel felt a soft thud on her back. Oh, Diana, it's you. Good girl for not barking. Be quiet, we're hiding. But they didn't find out anything else. Soon the lady shifted onto some other subject, got up and walked back to the palace slowly. Vlad and Lel walked to the garden slowly and reached the spot where the bushes ended. That was their cue for goodbye. Why don't we sit down for a bit? I've still got some time before Shahid returns from his friend. They sat in the grass, Lel shivered. It's cold. Vlad moved closer and slowly hugged her without saying a word. Lel's head was on his chest while his hands held her, warming her up. They stayed like that for some time in complete silence. Lel felt warm and comfortable, and she didn't want to leave, but then Vlad got up. Let's go. It's time for you to get home. Good night. The chaperone made Lel get up at dawn and shoot her to wash her face without any mercy. Big day today, the first order of the new Padishah. You have to look your best. Bitch, what the fuck have you done now? Yesterday the seamstress sent us new dresses, so go ahead and try them on. Pick the worst one. Pick the worst one. Easter night, but that's so pretty. Morning dew. Forest fairy. Or the cute dress. Dang it. It's so pretty. I like it. Oh, my little beauty. Let's go. Don't forget to stand close to the mid. Fuck no. Fuck you too. Dumb bitch. Get the hell out of here. She pissed me the fuck off. Like, I can't stand that. Like, oh. Oh my god. The official part of the day of the First Order dragged on for so long that Lel couldn't take it anymore. Just like other people in the chamber. It looked like Ahmed, who was standing in the sitter puffed with pride, was the only one enjoying it. Finally, he got to the announcement and Mehmed unfolded the scroll. So then, the First Order of the new Ottoman Empire, Sultan Mehmed II. Is that iron trash, and I need to go die in a fire. Is to cancel the order of Sultan Murad II about teaching the vassal children in the palace school. No, not this. Starting from next week, all foreign boys will be transferred to a separate school, with all conditions to case harden their battle spirit and prepare them for hardships of life. And this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. Like, but oh, you need to marry him. Stupid bitch. I'm sorry, but that, like, she's so fucking blind. I can't. Oh, what I tell you, we need to get the fuck out of there. Oh, trash. Absolute trash. Everyone around me, I can't. Okay. Anyway, Melody, wake up. I emerged from the mist of... Did that water get like a lot closer? I could have sworn we were up high. Did the water raise up? I don't know. I emerged from the mist of my mind and opened my eyes. Vlad was standing next to me with a concerned expression. He saw me pass out and got scared. Vlad, I'm fine. But he didn't hear me. His darkened gaze was aimed at the forest behind the banister. It was still nighttime, but something changed in the whole scenery. First thing I realized that it was completely quiet, as if we were underground. No birds, no crickets, no rustling. I came to the banister and followed Vlad's eyes. Oh. Some strange haze fell over the woods, looking like a huge trembling veil, and looked alive. Oh, that's some sort of... Oh. A long, spine-tingling sound rolled in the mountains, echoing through them. It reminded me of hundreds of voices, combined in a single lament. Vlad, what's going on? I also looked at the lake. The water at its edges was going up as if pulled by a giant magnet, and there was a deep swirl in its center. Melody, go to your room. But I couldn't go. My eyes were fixed on the scene over the banister. No natural occurrence could explain what I was seeing and hearing. Go to your room. His scream made me jerk, collected paintings with shaky hands, and rushed down the stairs. Vlad followed me. You want to explain what's going on, buddy? At last I saw the hall of the first floor and the doors to our rooms. Mine was 30 feet away and Leo's room was before it. Vlad came to a halt next to it. No, wait. He pushed the door open and pushed me towards the scared Leo, who rose from his bed immediately. Be with her. Leo and I watched the confusing as Vlad ran out of the castle and disappeared into the night. Buddy, you alright? Okay, let's go ahead and continue on. This might be a long one. But it says episode 5, blood on the walls and the first traces of other paintings. Okay. I'm not really sure what to think about this one. I'm trying to make up my mind as I go along. I'm struggling here, just trying to tone down my anger and upsetness. Chapter 5, The Crime. I was still looking at the dim hall where Vlad disappeared moments ago. My body gave in and I staggered and grabbed the door frame. Melody. Leo held his hand out and held me by the elbow, not letting me fall. Your relationship with Leo is not close enough. I'm fine. We'll be fine in a moment. You need to lie down. He helped me get to his bed, the only one in the room. Leo covered me with a warm duvet, but I was still shivering. Clink. A porcelain dish fell from the shelf, its shards scattered across the floor. My heart sank instantly. I looked at the shelf where the big hourglass was standing. Leo's eyes were fixed on it too. What the? The sand was seeping through the narrow neck slowly, but not upside down. It was going up. Oh. The window opened with a bang, rattling the curtains. The sound filled the room along with the cold night air. The choir of hundreds of mournful voices I heard upstairs were chanting one word now. Leo stepped to the window decisively and looked out, listening. The next moment, everything stopped. There was complete silence, as if an invisible conductor waved his baton, making the orchestra hush. The curtains were swaying peacefully, and the sand in the hourglass was seeping down lazily as it was supposed to. I felt like everything before was a dream I just woke up from. Did you and Vlad see something similar? Yes. Something about the voices in the lake. Nervousness made my voice shake. It's some devilry, but there must be an explanation, right? Leo shook his head. Whatever it was, it's all over now. You need to sleep. Don't worry. I'll be close. He sat down in the armchair, fully intending to spend the night there. Oh, Lord. Have I already decided? Okay, you know what? Okay. Since I'm going to replay, right? I haven't decided one way or the other. Then, let's not decide yet. Okay, and once I finish this one, then I'll decide, and then I'll go back and fix everything. And just go with the choices that I want to. Yeah. Let's do that. Please, I won't fall asleep alone. Okay. He settled down next to me, hugging me with one hand. My hand fit the space on his shoulder perfectly, as if it was made especially for me. It seemed like Leo had a gift to chase fears away. My panic subsided next to him, as if I'm under an angel wing. I pressed harder against Leo, throwing my arms around his torso. I felt the outlines of his strong body through the thin layer of clothes, and it made a pleasant wave rush through my skin. I slipped my hand under his shirt and began caressing his chest and abs. Leo's breath got faster, and his body got hotter. He turned to me, slid his palm down my neck, and kissed my lips. There was so much passion and hunger in his kiss. We acted on impulse, entwining our hands, filling each other. Leo held me closer and turned on his back, bringing me with him. I got on top of him. That's when I felt another healthy bulk below his belt. Suddenly he held my waist and took me off him, putting me down at some distance. Leo? Sorry, I might not contain my impulse and it would be wrong now. But you're scared and you didn't get into my bed voluntarily. You need protection, not... He leaned back, rubbed his forehead, and sighed loudly. I really want you. You have no idea how much. But I don't want to abuse the situation. He turned his back on me and I just laid there, staring at the ceiling. My hectic first thought started cooling down. I thought he might be right. That's when Leo turned back. He gave me a warm hug, buried his nose in my hair, and whispered, "Let's sleep." I closed my eyes and drifted off almost immediately. Okay, that was kind of cute. This is what I'm talking about. I haven't decided. When I woke up in the morning, Leo wasn't there. I washed my face in a hurry and went to the yard in front of the castle. Whatever that means. At first I didn't even notice Sand was quiet next to the hole in the castle wall. What are you doing? There's something in there. I leaned into the hole. A pair of eyes sparkled at me from the darkness. It's like a cat. Let's take a step back and maybe it'll come out. We stood some distance from the hole. Even then in the early morning, the scenery around the castle didn't look welcoming. Fog was high in the mountains and the sun seemed to avoid the castle. I listened to so many legends and scary tales about this castle as a kid. It must have come from somewhere, right? There's no smoke without fire. Well, this place is as unusual as it goes. Equipment goes crazy here, and there's tons of other strange stuff, but there's nothing mystical about it. My teacher used to say it was all because of the metals hidden in these mountains, geomagnetic fields, yada yada. Of course, people didn't know it in the past, so they invented other explanations. Sandra's words made me feel better. That was the kind of explanation I expected. By the way, have you seen the others? No, they must be still asleep. I'll go to the terrace and see. Oh, and I'll get some goodies for this mysterious animal. Maybe we'll lure it out. Great idea. I'll keep my eye on it. I saw Anton on the terrace in the patio. He was serving out a tray for coffee. Good morning, miss. Good morning, Anton. Who's the coffee for? Mr. Vlad asked for it. Until that moment, I was chasing away the dark thoughts about something happening to Vlad in the night. Once I heard he was at home, I immediately felt as if a great weight had been lifted off my shoulder, off my soul. He and Mr. Leo are off to throw some knives. At first I didn't register his words, but then my face got pale. Knives? Alone? Vlad and Leo? I must be there. Anton, where are they? I can't tell. The master said not to bother them. He just said to bring the coffee over. Then I'll take the coffee to them. As you wish, miss. You're the lady of the house. Brother won't dare to go against the lady's will. Okay, good. He moved the tray over to me and pointed me in the right direction. Well, maybe they'll be friends in the now memories, just like they are in the past memories. He tray over to me and pointed me in the right direction. They're by the big oak. Entering the garden, go left on the path, then forward. Left, then forward. I took off running. Miss, you forgot the coffee. Left and forward. A twisty path took me past trees and bushes. Soon I saw the crown of a huge oak. It's here. I know, I wrote it down. A green thick hedge separated me from the clearing. I came closer and peeked through the foliage cautiously. There was a target plank as high as a person under the oak. Swoosh. A knife flew right before my eyes, hitting the desk loudly right next to the other knives. It's my turn to gather them. Leo approached the target and took to yanking all the blades out. Oh wait, there's another valet. My heart sank as I saw Vlad pick up a double-bladed knife and aim. I was a moment away from screaming, but Leo said calmly, "Throw it." He stepped a foot away from the target and waited indifferently. Are you afraid I'd miss? So far you never missed. Why would you now? What if I do it on purpose? It'll be simpler to let me die in the torture chamber yesterday. Swish. Vlad's valet hit the bullseye. Leo took it out and walked back. Yeah, let's listen from here. Leo, thank you for keeping an eye on her last night. I didn't do it for you. They stood next to each other. Leo aimed. Where did you go off to last night? Vlad didn't answer. You've got way too many secrets. Swish, swish, swish. Leo threw several knives and all of them hit the mark. But you brought her to me. That means you put her safety above your interest. What interest? Leo shook his head and smirked. Only an idiot will believe you brought her here for the paintings. No, you need Melody. You have a thing for her. Vlad didn't react at all. He threw his portion of the knives in the plank, never missing the mark. You know nothing about me. I don't care. The only thing that's important to me is for Melody to be safe and sound. I'll do everything for it. I know. Vlad lowered his hand with the knife in it and looked at Leo. I've got the situation under control, but if there's the faintest risk, and there always is, Leo, come back to the castle today and live with us. Oh, that's new. The night walk must have had a strange effect on you. Vlad let his irony slip. Be there for her, especially when I'm not here. Are you sure you won't regret it? Suddenly, Vlad threw his knife vigorously, that time almost missing the plank. Then he turned to Leo, his eyes shooting fire. Be there for her, but not too close. So, staying on your terms. As the master's girlfriend bodyguard, who can't even look at her? That won't do. I'll stay, but don't expect me to play nice. Let's be honest rivals. Well then, that seems to be fair. Leo tossed the last knife into the center of the target and turned to Vlad, offering him his hand. I've got the full set. You've got -1, so you've lost. Vlad shook his hand and smiled with the corner of his eyes. So one small battle. Where's Anton with the coffee? You've learned important information. Sandra appeared on the path, waving her hand. Hey, where's Melody? Anton told me she rushed to you. The guy shared a confused look. I realized it was pointless to continue hiding and went into the clearing. Oh, there you are. I've been waiting for you and I got worried. It's okay, I just found out that the men went to throw knives. And I got... scared? Please don't do that anymore. Were you afraid we'd get cut? It's not funny, I was really worried. You shouldn't have. Alright, let's go to the terrace. Anton met us with a sour face and went to brew new coffee because the old one had gone cold. Leo, you're leaving now, right? Can you give me a ride to my village? Sure. I really wanted to come too, to see the lambs. Melody, why don't you come with us? Thanks, but I need to get someplace else, to the Brazov Museum. I want to find out where the other 3 paintings went while they're still traceable. Vlad gave me a strange look. He didn't seem to approve of that idea. Melody, you can come with me. Let's go to Brazov and then come pick Nosferatu up. It's the opposite direction. Whatever, I don't mind. There's another option. Leo could get us to the village and move on. And we'll stay with my family for a bit, then take my pickup and ride to Brazov. The simplest way is to come with me. All 3 of them looked at me and I realized the decision was mine. Vlad, Leo, or Sandra. What did I tell you? Every other option is like, choose someone. Choose someone. Guys, I don't know who I'm more interested in here. Oh man. I thought we always kind of like hang out for a bit and then just see where things go, but everybody's like super intense. And all the options are like super intense. Like, oh, I feel like there's so much pressure to choose. Oh man. And I feel like I don't know anything about most of them yet. Last time we decided on Vlad, right? Then we learned those interesting things about Leo. I feel like poor Sandra's just not gonna get enough screen time. And therefore she won't be around for most of the adventure, so you won't have that much bonding with her as you will with the others. Okay, I'm gonna go with Vlad. It's really the simplest way. Leo's in a hurry. Let him run alone. I will go later. Sandra, we can take you and Millie to the village. Oh, we should probably wake her up already. Fine, we'll go with you. Leo left right away while we spent another hour waking Millie up, having breakfast, and getting ready. Finally, the 4 of us left the castle in Vlad's car. I couldn't help but stare at the view from the rear window. This castle is so beautiful. Eerie, but beautiful. These mountains, fog, and the circling birds is also mesmerizing. Soon we came to the cold village. Vlad stopped the car and we all got out. It's so much more welcoming this time. Vlad looked around intrigued. Some girl ran on the road and rushed towards Sandra. I'll kill you, dork. You haven't showed up here for 3 years. What's this? She took to hugging and kissing Sandra with vigor, and Millie whispered, Leo and I saw her the last time. She was laughing hysterically, but now she's normal and cute. Me and my sister, Ilinka. The girl beamed and hugged us all in turn. Me, then Millie. She hesitated next to Vlad. He was looking at her with a welcoming smile, but Ilinka didn't hug him and turned away confused. The gate screeched and a tall, very gloomy man went outside. We saw him too. The man ignored us completely, stopping next to Sandra. She smiled at him cheerfully with a hint of guilt. Looked at her ghoulishly for an answer, his lips twisted. He turned away with indifference, moved on, and soon turned around the corner. Sandra was standing there perplexed. Who's that? It's our father, Mihai. He hasn't seen his daughter in 3 years, and this is how he greets her? He's never been nice and warm, but this is new. Linka, what's up with him? I have no clue. He's been very weird lately. He doesn't talk, he doesn't sleep at home, he's basically living on his meal. He just returned here in the morning all morose and leaving already. Now we won't see him for another 2 days, that's for sure. You can stay here if you want to. I don't want to leave her alone a moment like that. Myself will wait. We can stay with you. Thank you, Melody, but there's no need. You're ready to cancel your plans for Sandra. She appreciates it. I'm fine. I've got Alinka and Millie. Are you sure, Millie? You didn't change your mind, did you? Melody, it's okay. We're grown-ups. We can sort it out. How old is Millie, first of all? I get the feeling like if you're not with Leo, then she would kind of be there. But like, how old is this chick? Soon we said goodbye to them and continued our trip to Brazov. The car was going fast on the highway. I was absorbed in my thoughts. Sandra's a good girl as well as her sister, even though they're so different. What? Yes. Vlad, about last night. Please don't ask me, Melody. All you need to know is that you've got nothing to be afraid of. That's why you asked Leo to stay? Vlad cast a short, sharp glance at me and watched the road again. Shouldn't have listened in on that conversation. It's men's business. Really? I'll remember that. We approached the museum and looked different this time. The building was clearly being renovated and the driveway was closed. Vlad parked the car and we got out and started looking around. I noticed a pile of paper on the doors, informing visitors that the museum was closed for reconstruction. No, did we come in here in vain? Vlad shook his hand behind the rope that was obstructing the way and pushed the door. To our surprise, it opened. I quivered. A serious-looking girl, frowning with displeasure, was standing behind us. Hello, would like to speak to the custodian? Can you read? It says right here we're being reconstructed. Vlad came close to her and she moved back. We can see it just fine, you don't have to be rude. It's important, we came from afar. She gave Vlad a side-eye but clearly decided to stick to her guns. Leave Grandpa alone, everyone wants to see him. So you're his granddaughter? My name is Melody Burnell. The girl winced even more upon hearing my name. Leave, don't bother him. He's not working now. She slipped into the doorway, pushing me on her way, and locked it from inside. That was unexpected. Vlad gave the door a yank, but to no avail. What do we do? Suddenly a deafening scream came from the museum, and then another and another. It's her screaming. We need to help her. How do we get inside? Open the door with the bobby pin? Took my pin from my hair and started twisting in the lock. I have no idea how to do it. The pin wouldn't help me. It kept falling from my hands. The idea failed. Go through the window. The nearest window was cracked open. Vlad, give me a lift. He picked me up and I climbed onto the windowsill. Put my hand in the window slit, managed to open the window from within and got inside. Vlad pulled himself up and followed me. I jumped from the sill and almost landed into a dark puddle on the floor. Oh lord, is that blood? Then it hit me. It was blood. What? My eyes scanned the floor, unable to go up. Blood was covering the whole floor and even walls. The custodian's granddaughter was sitting in the corner. Her face was pale as ashes. She was hugging her knees and moaning quietly. I couldn't help but trace the path of the blood. It's leaking from the next room. As if enchanted, I took a step toward it and... Melody, no, wait. Vlad stood before me, covering the doorframe with his body. He stared there unmovingly for a few seconds, then slammed the door shut. He produced his phone and called the police. Suddenly the girl looked up with glassy eyes, enchanted. In pieces. He's cut in pieces. Oh, Jesus. My whole body shook. I leaned against the windowsill and covered my eyes with my hands. It was horrifying. The paintings, it's all those damn paintings, I'm sure. It was the devil that gave them to him. Well, his blood is on my hands, too. She was shrieking now, and Vlad squatted next to her and touched her shoulder lightly. What's your name? Mariana. Mariana, what happened to the paintings? I know there were 6 of them. But only 3 got to Miss Burnell. Do you know what happened to the others? She closed her eyes with her hands and babbled. Yes, there were 6 of them, but... I heard Grandpa talking on the phone with that American guy, Vincent. They were discussing the price, and I thought, what an old fool. How can he give them away for such a measly sum? So I told him not to give them away. We'd find more generous buyers. Grandpa was so agreeable, but he never said no to me. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but she continued telling the story. But he stood his ground. He said that first, he already reached an agreement with Vincent. And then, and this is the main point, the young benefactor who gave the paintings to the museum wanted Vincent to have them, and no one else. What about Bloom? He was offering them to Bloom, too. Mariana shook her head. No, he didn't offer anything to Bloom. That's how the benefactor told him to act. He told him to tell Vincent his rival was going to get the paintings so that Vincent would come running. And then I figured out Grandpa was saying a series of paintings when talking to Vincent, never stating the exact amount. So I convinced him to give only 3 paintings to Vincent. That way we'd keep the agreement with your boss and fulfill the promise to the benefactor. We never agreed to give all the paintings to Vincent. He'd be fine with just 3. I offered to sell the remaining 3 in a closed dealership for a heftier sum, so we could go for a really nice renovation in the museum. It's the only thing Grandpa agreed to. He never wanted anything for himself, but he was willing to do anything for the museum. So who bought the remaining paintings? A local aristocrat named Gradish. The others came later, including Blum's people, but it was too late. Vlad got up in one move and repeated broodingly. Gradish? I heard police sirens wailing. The police will be here any minute. I asked her the last question. Mariana. And you know, that's the most important thing. Why do you blame the paintings? Why do you think your grandfather was killed over them? What else? He was modest and quiet. He never argued with anyone. The police rushed into the room. Explanations to protocols, it all took several hours. Vlad was the one talking to the policemen. They were very respectful towards him, and as they left me alone thanks to his request. Finally, they let us go. We went back to the castle. What's that on the road? What's that? That was number 4. Upon approaching it, the car stopped abruptly. Vlad got up from his seat and looked through the front window with a frown. He left the car and I followed him. Vlad, what's this? I saw circles burned in the grass and stones were laid out in strange patterns. Several stones were laying on the road, blocking the way. Was it some kind of ritual? It's just something stupid. Kick the stones off the path. Get in, Melody. We can go now. The castle loomed over us. We got closer, and that's when I noticed another strange thing. There are no more birds over the castle, not a single one. I said that means rain. As soon as we were out of the castle, I headed straight to my room. I felt as though the terrible smell of blood soaked through my clothes and skin. I had to get to the shower and wash it off and change my clothes. I wear Gothic princess, top and skirt, a silk dress, a light dress. I kind of like this one the most, I think. I don't know. going to set my hair? Got violet locks. Pretty. Fluffy waves. A bob. Or a beach hair. It's cute. The hot shower at first look cheered me up a bit, but the horrific events of the day wouldn't leave my mind. I felt like going to the past all of a sudden. Maybe that's where I'll find some peace. Well, the last thing you saw was that Mehmed just... Okay, I get that we need to go to the past every episode as well, but like... Don't make a stupid reason about it. I got out of painting, and in several minutes my wish came true. Lel went forward without looking where she was going. The Thorns were picking at her new dress, but she wasn't noticing them. A training ground loomed ahead. Lel stopped, wiped her tears with her hand, and then approached the fence. Melissa was in full swing. Young men were sword fighting, and a huge man was walking between them, Ali Bey. Lel noticed that her friends, Aslan and Vlad, were fighting with each other. What about this? Take that. A couple of vigorous attacks, and Vlad was lying on the grass under his friend's sword. Aslan offered him a hand, but Vlad sprang to his feet and forced his sword into the ground. Another round? What's the point? You're bigger and stronger than me. I'm wasting my time. Ali Bey's heavy hand lowered on his shoulder from behind. Vlad, come here. Vlad frowned and approached the teacher. Yes, he's bigger and stronger for now. Do you think the enemies you face when you become the ruler will be smaller or equal to you? Vlad shook his head. No, they're all much bigger than my country. That's right, but that doesn't mean you'll lose. Strength is not everything. Think, observe, watch your opponent and find his weak spot. Go. Vlad grabbed his sword again. This time he didn't hurry to attack. He narrowed his eyes and watched every Aslan's move like a hawk. Vlad lost the next two competitions, but he managed to get the sword out of Aslan's hand the third time. Yes. He couldn't contain his victory yell. Ali Bey patted his shoulder, grinning. Well, what did you see? His left hand is slower than his right. Good. Go, we're done for today. Aslan noticed Lel and approached the friends, casting his hair from his face with a busy look. Just so you know, I let him win. No, you didn't. Come on, I'm impressing her. Lel still on the side of the fence, and the boy stood next to her on another. It might be our last time standing like this, chatting about nothing and everything. They'll be transferred soon, disappear from my life. Be strong or given to emotions. I don't know. Just see where the emotions go. Okay. She rose up to the fence, pulled their heads close, and cried bitterly. Lel? Lel, what's the matter? Oh, they don't know about it yet? It's Mehmed. His first order is to kick the outlanders from the palace school. They'll transfer you, maybe even to another town. They looked at her perplexed. Faces looked as though they were still in denial or didn't understand. Lel, come on. Well, they'll be setting up that school. Alas, the school already exists. I've heard where the outlanders will be taken. The big man looked heartbroken. It's not a school, it's a barrack, almost a prison. The ones that will study there will need all their will and courage. Teacher Mustafa was adjusting his mantle nervously. Lel Khatan, you're here, very well. I know you studied for tomorrow's contest, yet I'm still nervous. The teacher counts on you. Good thing I studied. Lel approached the teacher. Don't worry, everything will be fine. I studied a lot and I'm confident about my knowledge. Mustafa Hajam couldn't help but give her a big fatherly hug. My precious student, you're a worthy niece of your great uncle. The respect to you in the palace has strengthened. Interesting. Also, Lel Khatan, I gave you a scroll with Socrates' writings to prepare. Take it with you. I need to return it to my friend who will be at the contest. Yes, of course, I'll take it. I need to hurry to the harem to find Zara and retrieve the scroll. A server opened the door for Lel. She stepped into the harem. The dark stained glass doesn't let much sun in here. Poor girls, they live in a cage. Good evening, Lel Khatan. The elder of the harem turned to her and bowed her head welcomingly. Good evening, young lady. What can I do for you? I want to see one of the girls, Zara. Zara? Well, there she is. Come here. Only then does Lil notice the girl sitting in the corner. Her head was lowered, her shoulders were shaking slightly. She bade the eldest order and approached them. Lil stared at her red eyes in surprise. I was just thinking of what punishment to pick for her. Can you imagine what she'd done? She found some scroll and sat here reading, oh so smart, like a lady. The woman pointed to the scroll on the pillows, clearly disgusted. Do I like, that's right, I gave her that, or I came up with the punishment? Because if I punish her, then it could be something simple. But what did I fucking tell you? I told you she wouldn't get caught with that thing. That was a trap. Shoots. I don't know which one. Should I just come clean and say that I gave it to her, or I came up with the punishment? Oh no! I don't know! Choose something. Okay. I gave her that. Oh lord. Well, we're playing anyway. Goku-san stared at her in disbelief. Yes, that's why I'm here. Tomorrow, the students at the Palace School will be performing at a science contest, and we need a helper, one who can write, and you know how bad servants are at that. Sarah turned out to be quite educated, so I propose we take her. I hope you don't mind. Goku-san clearly didn't expect this turn of events. She looked at Lil closely, as though deciding if she could trust her. You're a niece of Murad's second, and from what I've heard, very loved and respected by him. I think I can let her go with you. Yay! Lil noticed Zara's face brighten. Thank you. I'll send a servant to get her. And yeah, I'll take that scroll. Okay. Lil looked around the academy hall again. The strict honorable elders, the contest judges, and a crowd of men of science were frankly terrifying her. Zara handed her the writing instruments. Good luck, Tan. Everything will be alright. Lil gave her a grateful smile. She sighed deeply, stepped into the hall, and bowed to the jury. First she completed the written assignments, then she answered their questions. As the only girl among the participants, Lil felt everyone's eyes on her. Mustafa Hojam was walking around, proud like a peacock, whispering on every occasion. That's my student, the resort of my new system. When the contest ended, the judges spent several hours checking the assignments and conferring. Finally, they asked Mustafa Hojam to read the results as the honorary member of the council. The list of 10 winners according to the scored points, the 10th place. He kept reading until there was only one place left, the first one. Lil's heart skipped a beat. All or nothing. And first place goes to Lil Katan. Zara jumped up and down in excitement and gave her a hug. Yes, you did so great! And I'm so grateful you took me here and I witnessed this. Triumph of knowledge. The teacher said my performance will determine if other girls will be allowed to go to the school. If they approve it, I'll ask for you first. Yeah, that's cool. Good thing that we studied. I don't know how that would have went had I not studied. I started waking up. The first feeling that came back was bitter cold. My whole body was entangled in something and I couldn't move. My wrists and ankles were squeezed and something was pricking my shoulders. I opened my eyes and realized I was laying on a table in the center of a big gloomy chamber. My body was tied with grapevine, dark burgundy roses were lying around me, and all around candles were burning. A heavy wooden chandelier was swinging above my head. What the actual hell? I screamed and nearby someone answered with a whiny moan. I turned my head and saw a man next to the table. Anton? He was tied and hung up head down on an iron crook. There was a gag in his mouth. Anton? The butler was looking at me with bleary, clueless eyes. Vlad, this is your doing. You better explain. The next second I saw a knife blade above me. And then I saw the one holding it leaning over me. What the actual hell? What the actual fresh hell is Vlad doing? What is he doing? What the fuck is this shit? I can't with the story sometimes. What the hell is going on? Jesus. The story is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Like, actually crazy. What is happening? I don't know how I feel about it. Is this why you wanted me to play this? You guys want to drive me crazy? That's all I got. I'm mad. I'm confused. I don't know what to do. I need help. Help me, please. Okay, unpack. Okay, so I won the contest. I helped out Zara, which is good. Aslan and Vlad are being shipped off to some barracks, like military academy sort of dealio. Because we met his stupid Joffrey jerk. We have our freaking stupid tutoress trying to get us married to him and do anything possible, despite the fact that it doesn't matter what I want at all. She's a fucking idiot like that. And then we're trying to figure out who we want to date here. Whether it be Leo or Vlad, and honestly, I don't even know, man. I don't even know. I feel like I just need to like reimagine it all again, like replay it all, like, or even before I replay, like rewatch it. Maybe I'll go back and watch my videos or something, or somebody else's videos on it. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back and do that. I just need to see the dialogue again, make sense of it in my head. Like, who makes the most sense? Because that Beauty and the Beast thing is only going to carry Vlad so far if he's tying me up in some sort of weird ritual stuff. What the hell is he doing? I already know they just left on a cliffhanger like this for a reason. Like, it's not going to end up being as dark as we imagine. I would hope. But still, like, there's no good explanation for this. None. I don't think he could tell me of a reason. This is like being tied up by Alexander all over again. I'm chasing you. Look, bro, tying me up without my permission is not okay. It's not okay. I have not agreed to be in a dominant and submissive relationship with you. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference. That's the difference. That's what threw me off with Alex. I didn't agree to that type of relationship, but he behaving as if I already had. So that's what it looks like it's happening here. I'm not down for that. So just for that reason alone, I might just switch to Leo. Just because, even with his overprotective ass, but he did kind of explain that a little bit. Okay. I don't know, guys. Help me please. And I'm gonna go through and look at the walkthrough to decide how I should proceed there as well. I don't know. I might make a lot of different choices. So I'm well confused and confuddled. But I do just want to know more about Vlad, so I keep choosing the scenes because I just want to know what's going on there. Like, get some hints or some clues or something, you know? I don't know. Anyway, I need to process and take a break, so I'm gonna stop this video right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and show the like button to love, subscribe to see more content like this, and I will see you next time. Bye!